Good morning, YouTube. Let's talk all about the options and the value of those options on the Ferrari 458.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan and we're at my dealership NG Supercars, and we have not one, but two Ferrari 458s here in the shop, and they're actually reasonably similar specs, but they have some different options, and those options have added different valuations to these cars. So I wanted to go through and show you some of these options. Of course, we don't have all of the options available because the 458 was one of the first Ferraris that really let you customize the heck out of these things. Now, you could get all sorts of various different colors and trims and patterns in the leather and all these rare specific one-off options, and basically it was kind of when Ferrari started to really say, hey, if you throw money at us, we will make it happen. So I can't go through all of the options, but we'll go through some of the more common things and how those affect the value of these cars. So real quick, if you'd like to support us, please check out normalguysupercar.com. There you can buy parts and services from us. Use the code NGS10, it hooks you up with 10% off. And of course, our dealership website, NG Supercars, where you can buy either of these Ferraris. All right, so I'm gonna walk through that car and then this car, and we'll kind of talk through all of the different things about them. And well, so here's the weird thing. They both have about 28,000 miles. They are both 2012s. So identical year, basically similar miles. They're both Rosso Corsa. They both have the same wheels, but the options in the interiors and some of the other options on the exterior are very dramatically different. And what's fascinating is this car actually has a minor on its Carfax. So it had a minor front end collision. Now, our suspicion is that it must have rear-ended someone, because if you had a minor damage on these cars, you wouldn't claim it. But if you rear-end someone, they're going to claim it on their insurance, and therefore it's going to go on the Carfax that you hit them with your car, unfortunately. So that's what we think happened, because the work done on it is almost flawless. We can't really see any signs of the collision. And furthermore, it has a full PPF on the car, so the paint just looks absolutely perfect. And this happened in 2013, so it was right after the car was brand new. And all the panel gaps and everything seemed to align correctly, so I don't think it was anything substantial. In fact, it says minor. It looks like it was minor. All right, so let's walk through these cars real quick. Well, let's start right off in the front. You've got the canards. So these canards right here are the composite ones. And you can see they're just kind of like a gray material. They're like mostly like a plastic. And you had options for carbon fiber. So this one has the carbon fiber canards. You can see much cooler looking. Now, this piece we've seen painted in various different colors, but it's generally a black or composite material. I believe there's a few different options on this piece right here. Like I might be able to get two-tone or something like that, but that seems pretty uncommon, so you don't see that a whole lot. Sticking with the front ends, you have the options of what's called the AFS. It's the Advanced Frontal something support, blah blah, I don't know. It basically means that this headlight right there will actually rotate left and right with the steering wheel. It also adjusts up and down if you have the axle lifter. So if you have the axle lifter, it was required by Ferrari to get the AFS. If you have the axle lift, you definitely have the AFS. If you don't have the axle lift, you may or may not have the AFS. Now, also bringing up the axle lifter. The axle lifter is on this car. Can't remember if it's on this car. Let's take a look real quick at the center console. Yes, they both have the axle lift. There's a few ways you can tell that you have the axle lift, and the easiest way is you just simply look in the center console right down here, and there's the button right there. The button on the left is your axle lift. The other thing you can tell if it has an axle lift is when you turn the key forward, you'll actually hear the axle lift pump prime. So the axle lift is a pretty desirable option, and it does definitely increase the value of these cars, certainly within a couple thousands of dollars, probably closer to $4,000 or $5,000 if you had an equivalent car without it. People really want the axle lift. It's great to have. You don't risk smashing the front end of the car as much or scraping it when going in and out of low spots. Unfortunately, I can't show you different wheel options because they both have the exact same wheels. Well, okay, so this one's got the classic kind of silver look, and this one's got more of the gunmetal look. But we can show you that you can see this has the painted yellow calipers. So the calipers could get painted in a variety of colors: black, yellow, red, gray, I think white. I think this is what they called like unpainted. So this is like the default caliper color. It's kind of like this weird dark grayish color. So if you see that, that means they kind of didn't really option for any colors. Now, a really obvious option in this car, this is actually a painted two-tone roof. So when you look underneath the hood on this car, it actually lists 2 paint colors, which is really kind of fascinating. So normally you'll only see the tag have 1 color. It's one of those things that you either love or hate. So if we open up the front here, you'll see right there. So it says Grigio Silverstone and Rosso Corsa. So yes, the roof is Grigio Silverstone. So the vast majority of the time, if you see a two-tone 458, it does not have a painted roof. It was actually a fairly uncommon option. It's pretty expensive. And so if you do see it, it does increase the value of the car. Now, again, it may make it harder to sell because people either love or hate that. But it is actually fairly rare. And usually if you see it, it's just a wrap. So some sort of vinyl wrap. Of course, this car does not have it. Looking at the dashboard right here, you can see it's got the red deviated stitching. So there's a ton of different colors. You could get the stitching in basically any color you can think of. The dash could be in all sorts of different colors. You could get different thickness of the stitching, so you could actually get really thick or really thin stitching. Over here, this car has a very unusual option on the dash. It's actually, you can see, got red leather up at the very front. Now, we've never seen that before. It's pretty interesting because the rest of the dash is all black. Pretty cool, though. I think that's a really interesting idea because it might prevent some shrinkage.
It shrinks?
Like a frightened turtle.
Because it's red instead of black. Hopefully it maybe doesn't absorb as much heat and so it doesn't shrink as much. I don't know. These cars both, I believe, have they got like a light sensor right there for the automatic headlights. So that's, I think that's standard. I can't remember now if that's an available option or not. Moving around to the back of the car. Okay, we've got a couple different options back here. Now, there was an available carbon fiber two-tone bumper. So basically this section right here would be in carbon fiber. I think they kind of call it like the challenge grille. Neither of our cars have it, so I can't show you what that looks like. You could get different exhaust tip colors. This is just kind of like the standard like silver, polished chrome, whatever. Moving down here, you can see, okay, there's the composite diffuser and the composite I don't know what you call this piece, but this trim piece right here and right here, that you could option for carbon fiber. So that was a pretty expensive option, especially the diffuser. The diffuser, I think, was like $7,000+ as an option from the factory. It does increase the value of the car a little bit. It certainly makes them a lot easier to sell if you have these sorts of carbon fiber things. One thing to look for on these 458s is right here where this piece bends, you'll see it crack. So that's super common. Always want to look for that. It's not like it's a big deal, but right here you'll see it cracked. Another thing you'll see is people will actually put like a PPF or like a wrap over it to hide the fact that it's cracked. So neither of these cars have it as far as I'm aware. Yeah, no cracks there. You can see composite. It's got the polished chrome tips. Yeah, no cracks there. Now, neither of our cars have it, but you could get different combinations of the side skirt. So this has a wrap on the side skirt. That is a carbon fiber wrap. It's not actually painted. You could get painted in different colors, and you could get it in carbon fiber, or you could even get it in composite. So there was different options for that as well. So let's stay on the outside and open up the engine bay. First, we'll do this car. Okay. Now, this car has the standard engine bay. Basically, this is what it looks like by default. You've got composite panels right here. Actually, these might be metal. I can't remember now. You've got like a composite plastic air box. This is metal right here. Kind of no frills, but it looks nice. You know, it's a very nice looking engine bay. The engine itself looks absolutely gorgeous. Of course, if you've got this is a Speciale, the intake manifolds are actually made out of carbon fiber instead of the metal. Those are pretty phenomenal looking. It totally makes the engine bay look absolutely insane. But this car, kind of the standard no options engine bay. So this one, on the other hand, they kind of chose all of the high-end options for the engine bay. Oh yeah, so we've got every panel in carbon fiber. So you got carbon fiber airbox, carbon fiber, they call it like the lock panel or key lock or something like that. And of course the carbon fiber side panels and the carbon fiber front panel. So all the carbon fiber pieces. That was an extremely expensive option from the factory to get those. I think it was close to $10,000 or so. So it does, again, increase the value of the car. Certainly makes it a lot easier to sell. I don't know that it's necessarily something that you have to have, but it does look very cool. Anytime you see it, it's certainly a welcome thing. Okay, so let's move on to the interior, and this is where you kind of start to see some pretty strong divergence in the options of these cars. So we've got the Daytona seats. So these are Daytona seats with red striping and red piping and red stitching with the Cavallino in the headrest. So this is an option. The stitching is an option, the piping is an option, and the color in the seats are an option, and the seats themselves are an option. So the seats, you could get different types of Daytona seats. These ones have the memory buttons. They also have the heated seats. So you could get them with or without heated seats. You could get them with or without the memory, I believe. You could also get it with or without the electronic controls. Now, this is an upgraded seat from the stock sport seats. So if you see the stock sport seats, they look a little bit different. They don't have quite as much of a bolster right here. You could get different options on those sport seats as well. We do have the carbon fiber steering wheel and carbon fiber shift pads and carbon fiber air vents, carbon fiber center console, carbon fiber driver's zone. So this right here is carbon fiber. So lots and lots and lots of carbon fiber on the dash, and it looks awesome. So deviated stitching throughout the side panels. This panel is leather here. You could get this in Alcantara or carbon fiber. That was an option. You could get the poles, the door poles in carbon fiber. You could get carbon fiber down here in the kicksells. You can get carbon fiber just about anywhere you want in these cars if you really wanted it. Also, headliner. Lots and lots of different options for the headliner. This one, just regular old leather. You could get it in Alcantara. You could get it with cross pattern stitching. Yeah, everything you can imagine. The dash you could get in Alcantara. You could get it in regular leather. Again, lots of different stitching patterns. Same with the seats. The seats could be in all sorts of different patterns. And as I mentioned, of course, you do have the axle lift. Oh, and I forgot to mention the rear camera. That's what you always want to look for. That's a great option right there. Okay, in this 458 you can see, again, carbon fiber steering wheel, carbon fiber center dash, carbon fiber console, carbon fiber driver zone. Basically, a lot of that stuff's all the same, but the big difference is, of course, the carbon fiber seats. Now, this option alone, very rare. Well, not as rare on the 458 as it is on the 430s, but it's not as common. And these things add a huge amount of value. So probably $5,000 to $10,000 on the value of the car. Awesome option. Again, got the stitching in the headrest, deviate stitching throughout the seat. They call these the gold rake, I guess, the design with the pattern on the stitching. There's different patterns that they do on the carbon seats. So you could get all sorts of different things. Again, no carbon panels here, no Alcantara, so just kind of a normal headliner. Now, there were different options on the stereo system. I honestly don't know all that much about that. I never really cared much about the stereo in these cars. It's kind of crap no matter what. This one has an aftermarket stereo. It's actually very, very good. But as you can see, yeah, lots of different options, lots of things to consider on these 458s. So what it really comes down to is find the car that's got the options you want. If there's certain things that are must-haves, you might just have to pay more for them if you find a car that's got them. If you don't, well, can you live without it? Of course, lots of different colors. God, I can't even tell you how many different colors these things came in. Colors have a huge impact on the value of the car. Obviously, Rosa Corsa is pretty much the default. Resale red always makes the cars easier to sell. It doesn't necessarily make them more valuable. Sometimes the rare colors do actually make them more valuable, but they might be harder to sell. So you got to kind of weigh all these things in. Colors that are pretty common but also not necessarily as desirable might be like black, although white sometimes is actually more desirable, especially if it has like a red interior, that it can actually make the cars go up in value. We've seen a gray car that was way above market, and it was a color that this guy just had to have. It was Grigio Scuro. So he didn't care what it cost, he was buying that car, period, because it was the right color. Stuff like that happens. But there you go. 458s. Pretty cool, lots of options. They started to get really customized compared to the 430s, where the 430s, there were some options. 458s had a lot of options. So a lot of diversity in the cars. And again, you got to kind of really look them over to understand, is this like just kind of a basic normal spec, or did they do a bunch of one-off stuff? Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Check out normalguysupercar.com. Use the code NGS10. Hook yourself up with 10% off. And NG Supercars, our dealership. We'll see you guys in the next one. We're going to be doing a lot of cool car stuff. You're going to want to stay tuned. It's going to be sweet.